Well, congratulations on the victory. You were obviously very complimentary of Matthew at media day. You knew about his power. You knew about everything he could do. So was that the type of fight you expected from him in there?
Yeah, I knew he was going to be super hard to put away. It was funny, growing up in Texas, I had two older brothers. One of them played football, started his junior or his all 4 years in high school actually. Played all 4 years, started his senior year, both offense and defense. So, Texas, a big football town. I know Matt was big into football.
A little bit of an understatement.
Yeah. I was never super into it. Thankfully, I found martial arts when I was like 16. But I know that breed. They're just like, they're quiet, they're respectful, and they work super effing hard. And I knew that was going to be the case with Matt. He's a pretty big welterweight. All of his amateur fights were at 205. Most of his pro fights were at 85. He dropped down to 170. So I planned on just doing damage, and I banked on going all 3 rounds. Always look for the finish. I cracked him with some right hands, and he didn't even budge. It's funny. The shot that hurt him the most was in the first round. Was with a jab. It kind of staggered him, but it's just hard to hard to rush in there. I did throw 2 wheel kicks, and man, I threw him a little high. We threw him a little high in camp because he was tall. But I remember I missed those by just a shade. That would have been cool. But he was tough. Going into the third, I thought they could have stopped it because his eye was swollen shut. But you can never bank on that kind of stuff. So once they said he was good to go, I hustled back to my corner and was ready to scrap it out again. But no, it was a fun fight. Always looking for the finish. But finish comes with styles, and I did it a hard style to put away. He's a brute.
Well, you mentioned the eye. Like I think even us when they checked on it twice going into the third round, and when he said he was good to go, he ran at you. So were you expecting that after, as soon as they said he was good to go, were you expecting him to blitz at you like that?
I was. So in all of his fights, especially the ones where he went the distance and won the decision, which, was half of his wins, he would always come out super hard in the third. Third round was always his best round. And I know 2 of the judges gave him one of the rounds. I'm guessing it was that third round. But I was happy, especially looking in the mirror after the fight. I really didn't get touched up all that much at all. And it was funny, in maybe the first round, maybe the second round, I was on my back in guard, and I threw up a couple arm bars, but he came down with a hammer fist, and I threw an elbow, and it split him open. That was awesome. So it was cool to be dangerous off my back, and I was happy to get the decision, and just for the fans' sake, I hope the fight was entertaining. I was hitting him with some shots, some big shots, and he wasn't budging, so I figured volume was the way to go.
Well, you mentioned your guard, and as soon as he was playing in there, and even in the third round when he dropped you with the knee and he went in and you were it looked like you were kind of working an omoplata type situation, Joe Rogan was like, I don't think Matthew realizes how good Brandon is off his back. Do you think that's an overlooked element of your game when people are preparing for you?
So, Alex, and maybe that's okay. It's okay. Maybe so. I'll be getting my third degree on my jiu-jitsu black belt. Not this January, but next January. So I've been a black belt for longer than I've been in the UFC. And as much as I love jiu-jitsu, just standing and cracking is the way to go in the cage. I'll use my jiu-jitsu when I need to. I did look for a little bit of action on the ground. In the third round, I body locked him, tripped him, but his back hit the cage and we kind of bounced back up. But that was one of those fights, I would have happily gone to the ground, used my wrestling, used my grappling if I wasn't able to touch him up at range so efficiently. But in that fight, I knew I would have the speed advantage. And he sits really low, so I knew his slight reach advantage was not going to play a factor. So I was happy with the outcome. I'm not banged up at all. It was funny. He threw 4 low kicks. 2 of them landed. 2 of them got checked. And the ones I checked actually hurt more than the ones that landed. So that was nice.
You said you didn't get really hurt or anything like that. That flying knee in the third round looked pretty bad. Was that just off balance, or did that actually connect?
No, it hit me in my forearms and chest, and I went backwards. I need to watch it back. I hope I wasn't throwing a wacky punch when he came in. But no, I definitely got knocked off balance, and it was pretty quick to get up if I remember correctly. I need to watch the fight back.
He leapt in and you kind of pulled your leg up and threatened with an omoplata type.
Yeah, just use a little high guard action to keep his posture broken. But man, guys are so slippery in the fights. There's a few things you can't prep for in training, and guys are just slippery and strong, and it's weird. Grappling is so. It's so many fewer techniques and positions at such a higher pace and rate. That's a good training tool to use, is maybe make things a bit more slippery and amp the pace up.
Then at media day, you obviously said you're a student of this division. You watched all the fighters that you might potentially fight. So is there any names that you're kind of eyeing or fights that you have circled that you're going to pay extra attention to?
Not really. Whoever. Really whoever. My goal is not who, but it's the quantity. I'd like to hit fight number 20. I like to hit win number 20, so I need 9 more wins in there. Win number 30, whatever. But the vets are always fun because they're not going to be around forever. No names in particular, no disrespect. But if I could catch a vet, that'd be the coolest.
Congrats on the win, man.
Thank you.
So this is like this is the longest winning streak of your UFC career. Like, is there anything that you credit to that? Because there was a time where you traded wins and losses there, but now like you're on the best streak of your career right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Not being comfortable is important. So I met up with Coach Safe. Man, I don't even remember the year. It's been 20. My man, thank you. 2018. Yeah. So just the moment I was able to answer all the questions, I had to find somebody else who could one up that. So I found Coach Safe. And then I'll never forget, I had a manager who was awesome, but I had him when I was working with Safe, and I just saw his knowledge of the game, both in and out of the octagon, and I knew it would be a tactical misplay if I didn't allow him to effectively handle my fate in the UFC, and he's just such a mastermind, and it's awesome. So yeah, when I hooked up with Coach Safe and all of the warriors at Fortis, I mean, that's what really elevated me to the highest level, and to be successful at the highest level is awesome. It's allowed myself as a coach and as a gym owner to thrive. You know, I get to share all the knowledge with my coaches and teammates. I mean, my coaches get to learn from Coach Safe as well. So, I mean, it's a win-win all around.
And speaking of Coach Safe, you know, he's one of the most vocal, like in the corner, like during the fights, right? Like you can hear him very clearly. Like how important is that in the heat of a battle, especially like a fight like this where it's going back and forth crazy, like you're getting rocked, you're rocking your opponent. How important is it to be able to clearly hear like all that instruction?
Yeah, that's a case-by-case thing. I was bad at it. I was so bad. I mean, it's funny. My striking coach, Matt, sitting next to Coach, can tell you, when I was an amateur and an early pro, I couldn't hear anything, and I would just brawl and fight crazy and do whatever. And it was maybe my like 12th or 13th fight as a pro, so I was finally able to listen. And now that's the one thing I make sure to listen to Coach. I always talk about like being a vet and using my vet skills. And this is the first fight. Like even my walkout song was different. It was a little more relaxed. It chose some Guns N' Roses because I didn't want to get all crazy and amped up. I wanted to be a martial artist. I wanted to be a high level athlete and be able to listen and use tactics and game plan. And I felt like I did a very good job in this fight. Cool. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the fights.